Good morning, you guys. Welcome back to the channel. It's been a little bit of time since my last video, and been a little bit of time since I posted a drawing video. I've been really severely under the weather. I know there's a lot of sickness going around, and unfortunately I caught a little bit of it. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up as to why there hasn't been a video posted for a while. Today I'm going to be working on my continued series of the Batman villains. I can't really post any of the items that I worked on over the last week and a half because a lot of it had to do with work. I've been really busy with work, so sickness thrown in there kind of put a monkey wrench in the business. One of the things that I get a lot of questions on in reference to freelance work is management. Management is something that a lot of freelancers struggle with, myself included. Time management, money management, being able to step away from the work at a specific time. Because as a freelancer, you as an individual contractor or proprietor, you're responsible for every aspect of your business. Unless you have employees under you, you basically do everything from the marketing of yourself to the work executed, to the bill collecting, to the billing, to your taxes, to time management, and it's sometimes can be a little daunting. I know that some freelancers, if you're male, you have your wife or your companion to help you, but me, I do everything myself. So whenever the time comes, if you're sick, then a lot of times it's very hard for you to step away from your business because you have deadlines, you have things like that. So those of you who are interested in going into freelance know that it's not just, oh, I get all the time to myself and I can do whatever I want. If you want to be able to perpetuate your existence as a freelancer, you need to do certain things, whether it's have an emergency fund, whether it's to work a month and a half ahead to have those deadlines and to be able to have that buffer zone to be able to meet those deadlines if you were to be sick. Contingencies, be smart about it. Businesses put contingencies in place to help them during the slow times, and as freelancers, you need to do the same. Not to get off on a tangent or anything, but that's kind of what I've been looking at recently, is to really focus in on time management and to get the things done I need to get done in a timely manner and be able to quit at a certain time so I can spend time with my family and on personal projects and stuff like that. I'm over on LinkedIn as well. You can look me up. You can Google me, Mike Clarida or Michael Clarida, and you can Google me and kind of see all the things that I post on LinkedIn and some articles and stuff like that pertaining to why it's important to have personal projects and why it's important to post on social media and to have an online presence, because again, if you were to go out for a job, you'll have a potential employer that'll basically Google you, or he'll word search you, or she'll word search you and look up exactly what you're about. So anyway, let's get focused on the drawing today so I don't get too far off into La La Land. But anyway, hopefully we'll have videos a little bit more consistently here in the future. And like I said before, I am working on my personal project for Frank and Beans and my dinosaur project. So I'm excited about these things this year, and I know that you guys, as viewership, we did go over 700 subscribers, which is nice. 700 in the grand scheme of things. If you look at some of the other people, I got 150,000 subscribers and I got 1 million subscribers. Well, I'm not looking to grow the channel exponentially to get money. I'm here to kind of bequeath the information to you guys so you can get something from it and kind of see an insider track to what it's like to be a freelancer. So anyway, enjoy Bat-Mite. And if you have any questions or concerns or any requests, if there's any requests, I've had some people request some characters and stuff like that, just put it in the comments below. And if you have any questions or anything like that, do that as well. I have done some reviews on some hardware, and those seem to be pretty popular, obviously, because people want to know how hardware works. I did the Cintiq Companion, and I also did the Surface Pro 2. and a lot of people have had a lot of questions. I might go ahead and revisit those just as kind of a wrap up, because I did just kind of a small sample, and we'll see where we're at. So enjoy Bat-Mite, and we'll see you on the other side. Thanks, bye. Okay, so as I always do, I like to start out with blue line pencil. Sometimes I'll do red line. It just depends on what I have handy. For those of you who don't know what a blue line pencil is, obviously it's a blue pencil. But what's nice about it is whenever you photocopy it, I believe the blue turns black, and that's really nice. So why they do blue and red is for the different ways that the photocopier reacts with it. But what's nice is, in terms of compositing, you can show a character, maybe the blue is in the foreground, the red is in the background, so on and so forth. And plus it doesn't smear as easily as graphite does. And it's really good on different surfaces, so that's why I like it. So Bat-Mite, who is he? Basically, Bat-Mite is Batman's biggest fan. I don't know a lot about the character, but I do like him as you know, an antagonist. He's kind of like the ultimate tester of Batman, because he believes him to be infallible in a way, as the greatest detective, and nobody can basically top him. And he's got kind of a sinister way of doing things, and he's kind of got magical properties. He's kind of like an imp being a magical creature, similar to a leprechaun, if that's an easier way to put it. So what I'm doing right now, as I'm sure you know I've explained before, is I'm roughing in the sketch. Roughing in the sketch, what does that mean? It means to basically rough in the basic shapes of the character and to place the elements very rough, so it gives you a guide map. I had an opportunity this week. You know, I know I've told you guys before as well that I teach, that you know, an opportunity to kind of put things in perspective for a special needs person, because I teach special needs children as well as other children, but special needs, sometimes you have to put things in such a way that it gives them an opportunity for success. So the special needs child was very interested in drawing, and he didn't know quite what I meant whenever I said a rough sketch. So I put it in this perspective. I said, you know, to go traveling, a lot of times we need what? And he said a map. And I said, right, so you need a map. The map is there to help you. The rough sketch in art is there to do what? And he said, to help. And I said, fantastic, very good. To help you. The rough sketch, to me, is the roadmap for the final sketch. It helps me, it guides me, it puts me in the right direction, it puts me in the right frame of mind, it puts things in the places where I need them to be, and ultimately, it helps. If you go to final too quickly, the things that you need to look right in the drawing will not, because everything will be off. It will be in the wrong place, and you will be what? Lost. That's right. So lost. You don't want to be lost in your drawing. You don't want the drawing to not make sense. So ultimately, the sketch is there, the rough sketch is there to guide you and be a map. Excuse me. Again, it is here to help. So Bat-Mite. Now, at the end, whenever you have reached your destination, what do you do with a map? Well, most of the time, you know, in the old days, we used to put the map in our pocket. Nowadays, it's all digital. You know, you turn the app off. So, when I'm done with my rough sketch and placing things in the place they need to be, I will ultimately go back over and I will not trace, but I will push the places that need to be pushed. I will refine the sketch itself, and ultimately I will wrap it up. Okay. See, if you noticed, I've left the eyes for last, which is probably not the best idea. And I probably shouldn't have done that. So what I do a lot of times whenever I get into a situation like this, instead of freaking out, I'll go back to the center point of where I should have started them. I should have basically, after I did the nose, I should have gone back and I should have basically put my eyes in. And since the ball is turned, instead of being straight on, it's turned 3/4, what happens is that perspective changes the way that this particular eye is being seen, and also the way this eye is being seen. Always remember, whenever you do portraits, whenever you do character design, you have to think of form being height, width, and depth. This particular character, you have to think in terms of depth. So this nose being turned 3/4, you're not going to see the other side of the nose. However, it is there, so you need to think about it and how it's going to be affected, and how you're going to draw it, and how you're going to figure out how that perspective is going to work in the context of your drawing. Excuse me. So what I'm doing right now is, again, I'm roughing in my eyes, and I'm going to place in the mask. Bat-Mite is so funny because he loves Batman so much, and he wants to push him into situations that really bring out how powerful Batman really is. So I want to do this eye first because it gives me a juxtaposition exactly where I need to place the other one. So here's the inner part of the nose, here's that, so it comes here, and now here's the start of the other eye, right there. So, if any of you are interested in technology and tools, I have placed a couple videos pertaining to devices that I use for digital illustration in the library of videos that I have online. One of the videos is for the Surface Pro 2 and how it's such a fantastic tool for digital illustrators. And I know whenever it first came out, the Surface Pro 2 was, obviously not a revolutionary product because you had the Surface Pro 1, and tablets have been around for a very long time, a lot longer than what I realized. But modern tablets, no, I'm sorry, laptops. Laptops have been around for a long time, but the modern tablet, however, this needs to go up. The modern tablet has only been around a short time. Your iPads, your touchable computers. But what's nice about the Surface and the Surface line and the Surface Pro line is the fact that it's kind of a hybrid. It's got laptop qualities, it's got tablet qualities. You can draw on it, write on it. But I really encourage you to look at that particular video just because it kind of gives you an insight perspective as exactly how I use that particular tool. Also, I had quite a few people ask me, if it's fast. If it's fast, does it work? Do the programs bog down? Because obviously, as an illustrator or an artist, you don't want your tools to stop you from, your workflow. What's nice about the Surface Pro 2 in particular is the fact that it's got the i5 processor, it's got 8 gigs of RAM, it's got almost 2 gigs of video RAM, so it's plenty fast. And as far as I can tell, especially recently since I use Windows 10, it is just a fantastic machine. It's hard to justify me going out and buying an $800 iPad and using Procreate whenever I can get Wacom Cintiq sensitivity with an i5 processor, and I can use full versions of the programs that I use
for a fraction of the cost of an iPad Pro. Because, you know, whenever the iPads Pro first came out, I was so excited. I wanted one really bad. And then, you know, I started looking at exactly how much they cost, and it was kind of like, golly. So that's whenever I started looking for alternatives. And that's whenever I found the Surface Pro line. And man, I'm never going back. I mean, even now, I'll go into the iPad store and I'll look at the iPads and I'll talk to myself and I'll say, man, this thing is nowhere near the speed and quality of my Surface Pro. And, you know, people that use the iPad, I think that's fantastic, you know. However, for me, and the money and the cost and the fact that I can just transfer the files over from my Surface over to my Mac. I mean, I use a Mac desktop, and I also have a Cintiq Companion. But I think that the fact that I can just transfer the files, a lot of times I just plop them right onto the Google Drive and it's just seamless. So that's really cool. You sharpen my pencil. Anyway, get back to the drawing, because I don't want this to be too long today. I want to go back on time lapse so you guys can kind of see the finished wrap-up product. But if you have any questions with regards to the Surface line, you know, I do use it every day. I use it for multiple things. I use it for drawing, I use it for graphic design, I use it for illustration, I use it, not only that, but I use, you know, my Cintiq Companion, which is also, you know, has the i7 processor. Fantastic machine. And again, these are tools. Tools do not make up for bad drawing habits or weak drawing habits. You have to still draw. You have to still create. There is no fix-it button. There is no magic bullet that basically can make you suddenly become a better illustrator. I saw that the Sketchbook Pro app recently introduced something that kind of fixes your circles. You draw a weak circle and then it fixes what you've done. I don't particularly like that. I don't like that at all. Now, in the context of speed and ease of use, yes, but I don't want to rely upon a machine to fix my circles. I want to practice drawing circles, and I don't need a stinking machine to fix my issues. It's just like cars these days. Oh, pretty soon we're going to have self-driving cars. I'm kind of on the fence about that, because you're putting not only your life, but so many other things, you know, other people's lives in the hands of a machine. And, you know, you can safely say, oh, machines have helped our lives in so many different ways, but I don't want to do that. At least not right now. Maybe I'm old school. Okay, so to come back to the drawing, what I'm doing right now is I'm figuring out exactly where everything needs to sit on the page. My my rough sketch is basically in. I don't like that. My rough sketch is basically in. And what I'm doing now is I'm going to go back with my blue line. I'm going to do some erasing. I'm going to do some refinement. And I'm going to basically finish my rough sketch. Once I get the rough sketch done, I'm going to come back and I'm going to use these great brush pens. You see, I've marked this one red because I really like it. It's got a great tip to it. I'm going to come back with a black, and I'm going to basically ink this, and I'm going to use my Copic markers and my Prisma markers to finalize my drawing. And once I do that, I'll come back and just do a final wrap-up, probably about 2 minutes, and you guys can see the final drawing as it will be final and finished. Anyway, you know, I say this every time, but thank you everybody that has visited my channel. I know I have a lot of students that are on my channel, and I thank you guys for supporting the channel. I enjoy teaching a lot. It's hard, but just like I tell the students, anything in life that is super easy, I'm not saying it's not worth it, but work is something that we all have to understand is necessary. And I like things that are hard, because You learn a lot from them. It shows who you are as a person. It builds your character. It changes you as a person for the better. Because you're going to have things that are hard in your life, and I would much rather find out through work, hard work, who I really am as a person than to have everything given to me and to never know the reality. So I don't know if that makes sense or not, but it makes sense to me. So thank you guys, and we will definitely see you again soon. And enjoy the time lapse. Bye. Okay, you guys, that's the final this morning. I'm gonna go off and do a bunch of fun work today. I encourage you guys to take a few minutes every single day to kind of do something visually, drawing, creating, whether it's on your tablet, whether it's on your computer, whether you have pen and pencil, if you just need to doodle. It's always good to keep a sketchbook around. There's a lot of options out there digitally. Do something fun. I posted on LinkedIn recently about personal projects and also having fun when you draw. Part of drawing is exploration and enjoying what you do. So thank you guys for visiting the channel. Like and subscribe if you can. If you see anything out there character-wise that you want me to conquer, accomplish, attempt, draw, leave in the comments below, and see you next time.